You charged your phone to 100% last night. You woke up, didn't touch a single app, and by 9 a.m., it's already at 81%. No videos, no games, no calls, just gone. And here's the unsettling part. That's not a bug. That's not a defective battery. That's your phone doing exactly what it was engineered to do every hour, while you sleep, while you eat, while you sit in a meeting pretending to listen. There's an invisible war happening inside your pocket right now, between dozens of systems fighting for the same tiny pool of energy, and almost nobody who owns a smartphone actually understands what's draining it, why charging it the normal way might be quietly wrecking it, or why two identical phones, same model, same age, can age completely differently. By the end of this video, you'll never look at that little battery icon the same way again. Here's what most people think they know. Your battery dies fast because you use your phone too much scrolling, too much texting, too many games. Simple, right? More screen time, more drain. And sure, that's part of it. But here's the crack in that logic. Plenty of people barely touch their phones and still watch the battery evaporate. They toss it in a drawer for 2 hours, come back, and it's already lost 15%. No screen time, no apps open, so if screen usage isn't the full story, what is? The truth is, your phone runs dozens of background processes you never asked for. The battery itself is a chemical system aging every single day whether you use it or not, and the way you charge it might be speeding that up without you ever noticing. So here's what we're answering today. What's silently draining your battery even when the phone is sitting still? Why does a battery's maximum capacity shrink over time, no matter how careful you are? And are the charging rules you've been taught, unplug at 100%, never charge overnight, actually true, or just internet myths that refuse to die? So let's go deeper than anyone has ever taken you before. But think of your background apps like dozens of tiny motors, all idling at once. Your GPS chip pings satellites to hold your location. Your Wi-Fi radio scans for nearby networks every few seconds. Bluetooth checks in with your earbuds or smartwatch. And every push notification means your phone has to wake its radio up just to ask the cell tower, anything new for me? Each of those is a tiny sip of power, but multiply that sip by hundreds of times an hour, and tiny sips become a flood. Animator, note, phone, with radiating, icon, GPS, Wi-Fi, each pulsing with a small lightning bolt effect. Now here's the part almost nobody connects to daily drain. The battery itself is a chemical battlefield. Inside that slim rectangle, lithium ions shuttle back and forth between two electrodes every time you charge and discharge. Picture millions of tiny commuters crossing a bridge thousands of times a day. Every crossing wears the bridge down just a little. That's a charge cycle, and every single one, even a partial one, leaves microscopic wear on the battery's chemistry. That's why a 2-year-old phone holds less charge than it did on day one, even if you never dropped it, never abused it, just used it normally. Animator, note, cutaway, battery, cell, showing, glowing, ion dots, crossing, a small bridge between two electrode plates, bridge, surface, showing, faint, wear, lines. But here's the part that nobody talks about. Your battery doesn't need to hit 0% or 100% to wear down. Simply existing in heat, your back pocket, a hot car, direct sun, quietly cooks those lithium ions and ages the battery faster than charging ever could. And here's where it gets genuinely strange. Your processor and screen don't just use power, they generate heat as a side effect, and that heat feeds straight back into the battery, speeding up its own decay. It's a loop. Use creates heat. Heat ages the battery. An aged battery delivers power less efficiently, which makes your phone work harder and run hotter just to do what it used to do effortlessly. That heat and decay loop is just the surface, though, because there's a layer of battery engineering most people, even tech reviewers, never talk about. The stuff actual engineers obsess over behind closed doors. The surface truth most articles give you. Stay between 20% and 80%. Avoid extreme heat. Don't use cheap chargers. True, but surface level. It explains the what, never the why, the hidden reality. Battery engineers obsess over something called voltage stress. At 100%, your battery is held at its absolute peak voltage, the most chemically strained state a lithium-ion cell can be in. Like keeping a balloon inflated to its limit for hours. It won't pop instantly, but the material is under constant strain the entire time. That's exactly why phone makers quietly build in hidden buffers. Your screen might say 100%, but internally, many devices stop charging the actual cell slightly before its true ceiling, specifically to ease that strain without you ever seeing it happen. Some phones even delay those final percentage points overnight until just before your normal wake-up time, engineered entirely around this one chemical problem. Real-world case study. A few years back, one of the world's biggest smartphone makers had to recall an entire flagship line globally at a cost of billions because their batteries were pushed too close to these exact chemical stress limits in pursuit of a slimmer, more powerful design. A tiny manufacturing tolerance, multiplied across millions of units, led to swelling, overheating, and in rare cases, fires. It became one of the most expensive engineering lessons in consumer electronics history, proof that the line between powerful battery and unstable battery is thinner than most companies want to admit. Wait, it gets even more interesting. The single most damaging thing you can do to a lithium-ion cell isn't draining it to 0%. It's leaving it sitting fully charged in a warm environment for hours at a time, which describes exactly what most people do every single night without thinking twice. Everyday connection. You've probably noticed your phone seems to die faster in freezing weather. You pull it out. It suddenly reads 20%, then climbs back to 40% once it warms up in your pocket again. Not a glitch. Same lithium-ion chemistry, just reacting to cold instead of heat. Cold slows the chemical reaction that delivers power, so your phone reads a lower voltage and assumes it, even though plenty of energy is still locked inside. Current application. This exact science is why electric vehicle makers spend billions engineering thermal management systems, networks of liquid cooling channels wrapped around thousands of battery cells, keeping them in the same narrow temperature sweet spot your phone is quietly trying to maintain with nothing but a thin aluminum frame. Every time you've heard an EV losing range in cold weather, you're watching the exact same battery physics from your pocket, just scaled up to a 2-ton vehicle. Surprising parallel. It's also why your laptop, your wireless earbuds, your electric toothbrush, and your cordless power drill all degrade the exact same way over the years. Different shapes, different sizes, same underlying lithium-ion battlefield happening inside every single one. And this is just the beginning of how deep this rabbit hole goes. Now here's something most people never connect to this topic, that battery health, percentage sitting in your settings menu, isn't actually a live measurement of your battery's real condition. It's closer to a forecast than a fact. Your phone constantly estimates, behind the scenes, by tracking your charge cycles, your temperature exposure, and your usage patterns, then compares that against thousands of other batteries with the same chemistry and age to predict roughly where yours stands. It's less a fuel gauge and more a weather forecast built from historical patterns, not a direct reading of what's happening right now. Think of it like a doctor estimating your cardiovascular age, not by cutting you open, but from your blood pressure, your activity level, your family history, educated guesswork, dressed up as a precise-looking number. So next time your phone tells you, battery health, 87%, understand, it's not lying to you. It's just speaking in probabilities, not certainties. And once you know that, a lot of the advice you've heard about batteries starts to look very different. So let's bring this together. Your battery isn't dying because you're using your phone wrong. It's dying because dozens of background systems quietly drain it every second, because every charge cycle chemically ages the cell, whether you like it or not, and because the habits you were taught, unplug at 100%, never charge overnight, were built around a stress mechanism almost nobody actually explains. Here's the big takeaway. Your phone battery isn't a simple tank that empties. It's a living chemical system aging in real time, shaped more by heat and voltage stress than by how many apps you open today. Now I want to know, did you already know about that 100% voltage stress problem, or is this the first time you're hearing it? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know how many of you suspected this. In our next video, we're going somewhere even most engineers haven't yet. The hidden reason your phone slows down, right alongside its battery, and it has nothing to do with age. Because once you understand the logic behind everything, you can never go back to seeing it any other way.